Right, final question 1E. Discuss the case for each EU country setting its minimum wage at 60% of its average national wage. This is an 8-mark question, 3 marks for the analysis of one side, 3 marks for the analysis of the other side of the question, and then 2 marks for the comment, judgment, conclusion. Again, to answer this question effectively, use the economist's toolkit. This time I'm thinking standard of living, ASAD, inequality, geographical mobility of labor. And I'm going to put those words in red on the PowerPoint here. So from the case study, we would assume that setting a national minimum wage at 60% of average earnings would be relatively high, given what they've said about most other national minimum wage schemes in the EU and from the case study. So to come up with one side of the argument, you might say that the new national minimum wage could increase real incomes for the workers who were on the national minimum wage. So there's your first mark. This would then maybe raise their standard of living, could lead to an increase in AD in the economy, which you could then analyze a bit further. And this could be a method of reducing income inequality, certainly something that the trade unions would be advocating. Then you could say that the new agreement might lead to higher geographical mobility of labor, as new national minimum wage levels will be higher in high-income countries. So because of the differential, because it's said the average income of the country, you might see that geographical mobility of labor increases. The other side of the argument, for 3 marks, you'd say, well, the new national minimum wage could then increase the cost of labor. So that's our economist toolkit idea there. This may lead to unemployment because low-income workers would be priced out of the job. You want to come up with an idea that says that if this new national minimum wage is too high, if it's above the marginal revenue product for certain professions, those professions are just not going to hire as many workers, and so therefore you will find unemployment. This may lead to firms in the EU becoming less internationally competitive or uncompetitive, which due to the increased labor costs. You could really take that one a bit further too if you wanted to, and then go into the idea of exports and aggregate demand. You could even bring in some aggregate supply there, possibly. And then you'd say that the judgment of the conclusion is it depends on whether or not other factors affect geographical mobility, or maybe how competitive EU firms were in the first place. Anything that sort of gives a question to say, well, yes and no, or maybe I agree with this side more than the other, or really even just to show that you're thinking along both sides of the argument.